Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to News and Talk Directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWine Radio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.
Hello, my name is Bryan Del Bondio. I am the president of Markham Vineyards in beautiful St. Helena, California. I invite all of you to spend some time looking through our website at www.markhamvineyards.com and check out the opportunities with the Markham Heritage Club and all of the special products that we produce only for our club members and people that visit our winery.
For the first time, I have the pleasure of meeting Bryan Del Bondio. It's really surprising. I think maybe I spoke to or met a past winemaker like 15 years ago, but this is crazy that I've never interviewed him before. President of Markham Vineyards. Markham Vineyards is one of Napa Valley's oldest wineries, and his grandparents settled in Napa Valley over 100 years ago. Both of his parents worked at Inglenook, and you know Markham Vineyards, especially for red wines, they're all over the main wine publications, is getting all these fantastically high scores. And Bryan, we'd like to thank you so very much for joining us today on Wine and Dine. And I want to ask you, because before we started recording, you said that you are a mushroom forager, and I would imagine some people listening are mushroom foragers. And so what kind of wine do you like to pour of Markham Vineyards, or do you have a couple when you make like a mushroom risotto or something like that?
Well, typically, I'll definitely use some Markham Sauvignon Blanc or Chardonnay as the wine component when putting together, the rice with the chicken broth and all the liquid you need to bring it up to size. But boy, that's a tough question because it seems like they're so savory that that kind of directs you to drink red wine.
Yeah.
And I would say the new Markham Cellar 1879 blend was probably maybe a wine that would be perfect with that because it has some spice from the other varieties that Kimberly puts in there. So that might be a good one. I mean, typically I'll drink Markham Merlot with basically anything.
Okay.
But and a lot of times when you're doing just a plain risotto Milanese, you can drink a white wine with it because it doesn't have meat or anything like that. It's just the savory mushroom with the saffron flavor, with of course cheese as well. So I'm basically all over the board there.
Well, that you're allowed.
Okay.
So, okay, talk to us about, I want to turn people on to, Markham Vineyards is nationally distributed, of course.
That is correct.
But there are a lot of other opportunities if people join the Heritage Club.
That is correct. We feel that if you do not offer your club members or people who directly visit the tasting room and visitor center to hear something other than the 5 varietals in distribution in all 50 states, that being the Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Merlot, Cabernet, and then the new red blend that we came out with a year ago. That it's not going to allow you to attract these people if you if they can go to their whatever store and just pick it up in Florida and New York or whatever. So we have an array of products that are winery only and winery club only. For instance, rosé of Pinot Noir. Red, that's really good too. And then a red Pinot Noir, which we do an exclusive with Capital Grille, and they basically buy about 2/3 of the vintage every year for their 60 restaurants or 50 restaurants, and then the rest is sold here. Kimberly always sneaks a little Cabernet Franc away from the blends to do Cabernet Franc varietal as well as the Bordeaux varietal here.
Wow.
And those are pretty fun. People don't, I don't see them as much, as you would think you would. But and then we have some old 90-year-old Petite Syrah that's a separate product here. We have done some regular Syrah. And, we bought a little Zinfandel last year and this year from a couple friends of mine, so we'll have one of those as well. So it's just fun. And these production levels, we're talking about between 150 and 300 cases.
And you didn't mention the altruist and the philanthropist.
Well, that's true, and those are not winery only 100% because we allow some of that to get out into the market, especially in the states where the winners of our grants have their name etched on the back of those bottles. So about half of it does move through the regular marketplace and select markets, and the balance is done here in the tasting room. Okay,
I understand what you're saying. Okay. So talk to us about this winners of the grant. Talk to us about this grant that you have going.
Well, it's called the Markham Mark of Distinction, and it's evolving into different things every year. But for several years, we put out a national campaign which required people to apply for these two $25,000 grants online with something that would improve their community. So they had to write up, what it was and how the money would be used, and we used a third party to pare down roughly 100 applicants into 10 finalists.
Okay.
And basically it was kind of a American Idol, online voting where it was incumbent upon you, if you are one of those 10 finalists, to get the people in your community to vote. And they could vote, I think, once a day for up to 30 days.
Okay.
And the two highest vote getters got the money.
Who won? Who won the last competition?
Well, we've had winners from New Orleans, from the New Ferret, which rebuilt a neighborhood that was highly damaged from the hurricane. We've had Food Bank in New Jersey that collected perishable and non-perishable foods that were past their due dates and distributed them. The Paul Ruby Foundation outside of Chicago that raised money for Parkinson's research. Just some spectacular human beings that put out a lot of effort, to improve their communities and improve life for people around them. So, and one of the, as you brought up, the altruist and the philanthropist, which are our two single vineyard Cabernets, one from Markham Calistoga next to Chateau Montelena and one from Markham Yountville next to Dominus. The winners' logos were etched on the bottles. These are non-label bottles. They're etched, pretty nice-looking packages. And then we would honor the winners on the back of them. And total production for each of those two single vineyard Cabernets was only 500 cases.
Why is this so important to you and your family?
I don't know. I mean, we've been blessed here, and I mean, trust me, I can't believe, the life that I have, coming from two parents that dragged me around Inglenook and BV for all those years when there was only, 10 or 12 wineries in Napa Valley, and now 400 or something to that extent. And my whole life has just revolved around all of the things, that Napa Valley has to offer, and that was things such as the mushroom hunting and deer hunting and the fishing. And when we were kids, it was like just a spectacular time. And then through the course of time, a lot of people have done some very nice things for us, and we started helping certain people mostly with wine and sometimes with venue to raise money for their charity. So we've done a couple of events with Carlos Santana for his Milagro Foundation, Tom Coughlin, coach of the New York Giants, with his J Fund, or J Foundation in Jacksonville, raising money for these cancer kids. And, I mean, these people are passionate, unbelievable human beings, and, you know, they're donating their time and a lot of the wealth that they have amassed from their careers to this charitable thing, and it just snowballed a little bit. The Lighthouse for the Blind in Chicago we've worked with and helped them raise money for that endeavor, and I don't know, it came about for, you know, this marketing thing, and how to give back, I guess, would be my answer, Lynn, to do something nice, and, you know, we were able to do it, so we did.
What started off as marketing has ended up as just something you've embraced as almost like a philosophy in part of your life.
Absolutely correct.
So talk to us about Markham Vineyards on Facebook and Twitter, you know, social networking.
Wow, you're gonna laugh at me, but I don't do any of those things.
Really?
So, yeah, we have somebody that posts, you know, information and, you know, lets people know that we got a 91 in the Spectator, we got this or we got that, or we're having sales and what have you. But I'm just such a private person, basically, that I just can't spend time doing that personally. So I kind of stay away from it. I like being on the telephone and talking to people, actually.
But there is Markham Vineyards on Facebook that people can.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what I figured.
Absolutely, all of those things we do. It's just somebody does them for me, so I don't have to. Yeah,
makes sense. I'm kind of the same way as with respect to my privacy.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so busy with travel and things for this winery, and then, you know, the last thing I want to do is jump on the computer and, you know, read all these things when I get home. So I can't afford the time right at the moment.
So are you the cook at home, or is your wife the cook, or the two of you?
Oh, I'm definitely the cook.
So what's for dinner tonight?
Well, last night we did a polenta thing with teleme and these wild mushrooms, so it was a meatless kind of dinner.
Okay.
She actually runs an events department for another winery and has an event tonight, so she's not coming home, so I might be eating mushrooms again tonight.
Do you ever put them on like a homemade pizza?
Absolutely. You can go buy these crusts nowadays, and oh, God, you're making me hungry, and it's only 5 minutes after 10 here in California.
Oh, my gosh. So do you have any other things going on in the vineyards? Like, do you grow olive trees and make an olive oil that, at least for the family consumption sort of thing, or is it...
Well, you're so good at this. My sister, who works for the county of Yolo over in Woodland,
Go on.
has a small olive grove, and they're doing some very elitist olive oils. So we definitely use Amy's olive oil, and we sell a little bit here in the tasting room, actually.
Can you connect her with me? Email. I'd love to interview her about her olive oils if she's selling them.
I'll absolutely do that.
Bryan Del Bondio, president of Markham Vineyards. It has been absolutely a joy to meet you today.
Thank you very much. I hope to see you. I love your state, so maybe I'll call you when I get to North Carolina one of these days.
Cool. Have a delicious evening.
All right. Thank you.
We will have links up for you to learn more, and you're listening to Wine and Dine. That was... I didn't know that. It just made sense that he would, you know, be growing olives at the... If you're in Napa Valley, why the heck would you be growing olive trees? That is cool. Now, I believe, this is crazy, people. Markham Vineyards is they're mainly known as red wine house, at least to my knowledge. Merlot especially. And you know what I want to try? You know what my mind said? Oop! What I want to try, Lynn? Rosé of Pinot Noir. That's what I want to try. You'll have to email me to find out if I get a bottle and I get to try it. Now you can listen to Wine and Dine Radio while shopping at the grocery store or your neighborhood wine merchant. Wine and Dine Radio can be heard using your wireless internet on your cell phone. You're listening to iWineRadio. iWineRadio is a production of Food Tastes Better with Wine on the web at iWineRadio.com. Hey guys, I thank you for listening to iWineRadio, and we are still the only wine channel on iTunes Radio. If you go look under iTunes radio icon and scroll down to news and talk directory, and it's listed alphabetically, click on that and the stream comes up immediately. iWineRadio.com, where you can find links to individual guests. And if anyone's interested in advertising or becoming an underwriter or sponsor, please contact us at iWineRadio.com. We really, really appreciate your support. The more support we get, the more conversations I can have with fascinating people around the world, including you. If you have a story to tell that you'd like to share on iWineRadio, go to iWineRadio.com and contact us, and we'll go from there.